Yo, what's good guys? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing well today. In this week's video, I'm going to show you guys how you can make some introspective beats for Central C's new album, Can't Rush Greatness. The album's been out for like a week now and I'm really enjoying it so far. I've been a Cinch fan for like 5 years now, so it's been really cool to see his progression as an artist and just how big he's gotten in the past couple of years. Yeah, the beat we're going to make today is going to be inspired by Limitless off of Can't Rush Greatness, which is probably one of my favorite songs on the album so far. We're gonna jump into FL Studio and I'll show you guys how you can make a beat like that. Alright guys, we are in FL Studio. I have the BPM set to 140, which is gonna be good for this beat. Usually drill beats are between like 140 and 144, so let's just start off with 140 and we can slow it down or speed it up a bit if we need to. I'm gonna start off with Analog Lab and grab a piano from here. We're gonna grab a piano from this Illuminate Analog Lab Bank by Lucent. I think we're gonna use the Chosen One piano. Now we're gonna use the Cage Heart one for this beat, and we're gonna start this off by building the same chord progression from Limitless. So I believe it's an F sharp minor or whatever like the equivalent major scale is, and this is the chord progression that was used in it. So instead of starting on like F sharp, which would be the root note, it's starting on B, and we're just doing a B minor triad, and we're gonna pitch this D up an octave. So that sounds good, and then the second chord goes up one note in the scale, and instead of doing a C sharp minor triad, we're gonna raise this note up one semitone, and then we're gonna add the seventh to it as well. And then the next chord is gonna come down to the root note, which is gonna be F sharp. We're just going to make an F sharp minor triad and pitch this up an octave. And then the final chord just goes down one note in the scale. And it's an E major triad. That sounds pretty identical to the chord progression used in Limitless. Obviously, we're not going to use the same chord progression for our beat. We're not going to use the same scale, but I mainly just want to show you guys how the melody was made for that beat. So it's a really simple melody. If you listen to the song, they add some accent notes here and there just to help transition between the chords. Another thing you can do to make this sound a little bit better is hit Option R if you're on Mac, and it's just going to randomize the velocities, and then hit Option S as well to strum the notes a bit. So I think for our beat, I want to keep this first chord and then these last two. So I kind of just want to switch up this second chord here. So let's try making a D major chord instead of a C sharp major chord. And let's hear how that sounds now. I'm liking how that sounds. One thing I want to try doing is pitch this A down an octave, and let's hear how this sounds. Alright, so next thing we're going to do is add our like accent notes or top line melody to this. So we're going to pretty much just add notes that are in each chord. So for this one, we're going to play around with like B, F sharp, and D. Alright, so I just added some like filler notes to the melody just to give it a little bit more rhythm to help transition from chord to chord. So I think that's pretty much good for the chord progression. Next thing I want to do is change the scale. Instead of being an F sharp minor, let's pitch it down to like D minor and hear how this sounds. Alright, so I'm happy with how the piano sounds. I'm not going to do anything else to the melody as of right now. I might add some more notes in later. I might also like add some effects to it, like some EQ and some stuff like that. But now I just want to work on the rest of the melody and then we'll come back to that. Alright, so the next thing that we are going to do is layer the piano with a pad. So let's open up Analog Lab again, and we're just going to find a nice soft pad that will fit nicely in sort of like the background to add some more texture to it. This Illuminate Bank has a really nice pad. This one's really nice, so let's layer the piano with this. So that's good for now. I might change up the pad sound later. Another sound that I want to add to this is just a sub bass. So we're going to go into Omnisphere, and I'm going to grab my favorite one, which is this Growler Moog bass. I use this in pretty much every beat that I make, so we're just going to layer the root notes with it, like this. Last thing I want to add to the melody is going to be a vocal, because you do hear that vocal in Limitless and it really adds that sort of like sad introspective feeling to the song as well. So I just pasted the pattern into the playlist, and let's open up Splice, and we're gonna try to find like an emotional sounding vocal to put into this track. Alright, so I changed the key of the melody and I found this vocal loop from Splice. So this is in D sharp minor. I pitched it down to C minor, so we're going to just change the key of the sample. We're gonna delete these ones. I was playing around with some different vocal chops I didn't really like that much. So let's hear how this sounds though. Alright, so that's pretty much it for the melody for this beat. What I'm gonna do now is just do some basic leveling and add some EQ to the sounds, and then we can start working on the drums. So let's start off with the piano. I'm just gonna take some of the low end out. Nothing too crazy on it though, because I want to keep the tonality of this. Add an EQ to the pad just to cut out some of the frequencies, because it was like kind of overpowering the rest of the melody and kind of stirring my computer out. So that's pretty much good like that. We're just gonna add a little bit of reverb to it as well. Turn down the dry, turn up the wet. Alright, now we have our sub bass. So we're going to bring this down, and we're going to make it 100% merged so that it is in mono. And then for the string, we're going to bring it down a lot because I don't want it to be that prominent. I just kind of want to fill in some like frequencies for the hook section maybe. I'm not even sure if I'm going to use it because it sounds pretty full without it, but we're going to see if we can make it work. So let's just add an EQ, cut out a bunch of the lows, a bunch of the highs. We're going to turn on stereo separation. Now the vocal. Alright, so I'm happy with how that sounds for now. I know me as a producer, I always change up the key of the track as I'm working on it, and it gets super annoying, especially when you have like an audio clip, because you can't just transpose it. You have to go in, manually tweak it. So what I'm going to do is right click on mixer channel 6 here, go down here, go dock to left, and it's just going to group it over here with the master. And then I'm going to hold down command and left click and drag across and select all of the instruments in our melody. And I'm going to right click down here and go to route to this track only. Apologies if you guys can't see that because of my screen recording. And then we're just going to open up Sound Shifter, and this is going to allow us to change the key of the melody a lot quicker than we would have normally. So we are in C minor right now. So let's go up to D minor. And let's start throwing down some drums on this. Alright, so for the drums, first thing we're going to do is grab a counter snare. So let's go into my drill drums and let's go into J-Cactus kits. And I want something, yeah, this crep counter snare is going to work perfect for this. And we're going to lay down a UK drill counter snare or hi-hat pattern, depending on what you want to call it. It's pretty simple. To get that bounce, you put your first note here like you always would, and then you skip 2 notes and place a note here, skip 2 notes, place a note here, and then you skip 1 note and place a note here, and then it just repeats. So this is what that sounds like. So it sounds good. We're going to go into the piano roll, and we are just going to select this, and we're just going to hit Command B to copy it over for the entire length of this pattern. And then we're going to hit Option R just to randomize the velocities a bit on the counter snare, because that's the secret to getting super bouncy counter snares for like UK drill beats or even like trap beats in general. Randomize the velocities on your hi-hats. It's going to add some more swing and bounce to it than it would have normally had if they were all the same velocity. And next thing we're going to do is just add some notes and take some out. Just play it by ear. So let's actually do one like this, drag the velocity down. And then we're going to just listen to the pattern while we're doing this as well. So I'm happy with how that's sounding for now. So let's just copy that over by hitting Command B. I think we're going to use a rim shot instead of a snare. J-Cactus, Rim Jong Un Rim. Brother, I've been using this drum kit for years now, and I just took in that you named a rim shot Rim Jong Un. That's crazy. All right, we're gonna use this crisp rim, and we're gonna lay it down on the 3 and the 4 like you would for a typical drill beat. So listen to this. And then for the second half, we're gonna actually offset it and place it there on the downbeat, and we're just gonna copy this over. And then for the second half here, particularly these last 2 bars, we're just gonna add some extra notes in. Let's just do it by ear. Alright, so now we're going to add in our 808, and for UK drill beats, they typically use like an elongated 808 just because it sounds better when you're trying to do slide notes. So we're going to do that for the hook section, and then for the verse, we're going to switch it up for just the typical spins. So let's go into maybe the Cactus Care package. Let's try using the Essential Evil 808. So we're going to drag this in. So we're going to click cut itself so that once the next 808 note plays, it stops playing the previous one. We're going to turn loop points off. We're going to turn the attack down, the hold up, decay, sustain, and release all the way down. and now the note only plays as long as we hold it down for. And then this is something weird that I always do, but I always just pitch it down to C4. All right, so we got to remember that we pitch the entire melody down, so we're gonna lay down the 808s on the root notes, and then we're just gonna go down 1 2 and hit Command L to elongate them. And I actually want to change up this 808 RA. Yeah, we're gonna use this one instead. Alright, so this is pretty much the pattern that I want to use for the 808. If you listen to Limitless, there's not like a bunch of 808 slide notes or rolls or anything like that. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is put down our kick. I don't use kicks a lot lately when I make trap beats, but for a drill beat, you kind of have to have a kick in there. So let's lay down this clean kick and see how it sounds. Alright, so I just pitched the whole melody back down to C minor. I think that is going to be the key that I keep the beat in. It's honestly like my favorite key to work in. I just muted the sound shifter just because it was causing a bit of delay in the playback, but we're back in C minor. I put down the 808. Alright, so we're going to layer the counter snare with this Hydrogen Bomb one by Faded Wave. This is one of my favorite counter snares. So we just copied the pattern into this one by Faded Wave, and we're going to open up the piano roll, and we're just going to take some notes out. So I kind of want just to start on here. Alright, and I did say that I want to use a spins 808 for the verse section, so let's just grab this Go To Spins by Infinite, make it cut itself, pitch it down to C4, turn the attack down, the hold all the way up, and then decay, sustain, release all the way down. We're going to copy this pattern into it just so we have the root notes nice and quick. And then for the actual like pattern, we're going to keep it really simple. Like it's pretty much only going to hit like twice each 2 bars. Alright, so that's pretty much it for the drums as well. I'm sure there's a couple of things I'm going to want to add into the beat as I start arranging it. If you listen to Limitless, it's nothing too crazy. It doesn't have like a bunch of like complex patterns, and I really just want to keep this simple like Limitless. Just keep room in case an artist were to hop on it. We're going to quickly assign these to mixer channels by hitting Command L, and then we're going to complete the rest of like the leveling. And I'm actually going to redo what I did here. So let's start off with the drums this time actually. So that sounds good. So now we're going to arrange the beat. And to do that, we're going to right click on pattern 1 and split by channel, and it automatically splits up that pattern by every instrument or channel that is in it. So I think to start off, we're just going to have the piano as well as the vocals, and then this omnisphere sub bass is going to come in next, and then it's going to go into the hook section, and we're going to have the pad play as well, and then we're just going to add the string in as well, and we're going to make sure that it's nice and quiet so that we barely hear it. And then we're going to use the catch-up 808 for this section, and then we're going to have all the drums play, and then for the verse it's going to switch into the spins. All right, now we're going to add some like drill elements just to sort of like fill in the structure of the beat a bit, make it sound a little bit more like a song. We're going to use this riser. We're going to add that. I just want to hear how this riser sounds. Let's also add a Fruity Love filter to this, and we'll do right click, create automation clip, and we'll just sort of have it fade in for the intro. And then here, this is going to be our 16 bar verse section. I think I just want the piano to play, and then the pad will come in for the second half. We're going to use this fried counter snare and the rim jong un rim. I did go back and change the rim sound. You know what? Maybe we'll switch this counter snare for a hi-hat just for the verse section. So let's just grab a nice clean sounding hi-hat. We'll use this one. Yeah, that sounds better. And it's gonna come back into the like bridge section, which it's just gonna be the same thing we did for the intro. Bring the love filter automation back in. Yeah, that sounds good. And then we'll bring our riser back in. We'll do like a nice little outro section, which is going to be like this. Alright, so I just finished arranging the beat. We have a 16 bar intro, which is kind of long, but it's an emotional beat, so there's nothing wrong with having like a long intro section. I just add like a drill perk at the beginning, and then we transition into the first hook section. Then it goes into a 16 bar verse followed by a 16 bar bridge, which I just copied over from the intro, and then we go back into the hook again, and then we just go into a little outro section, and then I just made like a little unique piano clip just so that last chord plays to sort of finish the beat. Alright guys, that's it for this week's video. I hope you all enjoyed it. It wasn't a complex beat by any means, but sometimes the simple beats are better. I had a lot of fun making this. It reminds me a lot of Limitless, so I'm happy with how it turned out. I hope you guys enjoyed the video too. I was making a lot of like R&B tutorials, but I'm gonna be making more like drill and trap and just like production tutorials in general on this channel moving forward, because I like making beats and I want to show you guys how I make different types of beats. I do have one more video in mind on another type of beat you hear a lot on Can't Rush rush greatness. So I think that's going to be next week's video, so stay tuned for that, guys. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It does help me out a lot. But I'm gonna let the full beat play out now. I appreciate all the support, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video.